Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. And today, what I want to do is a preview of this weekend's football games. Now, I have my marquee three, Anthony's three picks. I think I've only done it once this year, but I'm excited to do it this week. I'm not as confident this week as I was last week with my unofficial picks, but here's my three picks. With the news of Julio Jones, I'm even more confident because I took this at plus 2.5. Los Angeles Chargers versus Atlanta Falcons. And by the way, if you want to skip to the hot takes and whatever, you can skip to the end, whatever. But Atlanta versus LA. I was on this pick, plus 2.5. It's probably going to drop to 1.5 now, still favoring Atlanta, but they have to go all the way to LA. They came off an emotional Raiders win and then just a season-ending Saints. They had the optimism, maybe we can make the playoffs, maybe we can do something, but no. The Chargers last week, just not good. You think they're gonna fall flat again? You think they're gonna give up on Anthony Lynn? People are questioning him. I think this team is gonna fight for their coach, and the possibility of next year. I mean, they're not really looking for the draft. I don't think. You have some veterans on this team. You have some depth and experience. They're not gonna be like, okay, we're gonna look forward to next. I don't think they're tanking. I think Justin Herbert wants to play well. He's fighting for he's fighting for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I like this pick. I like the Falcons. The Chargers plus 2.5 at home. They have to travel all the way over there. Time zones, problems, whatever. And so my next pick, people are going to hate it, but I like the Jets. Now, the implied score for this game, the total is 47. The line is 13.5. That's a little bit steep. I think it's going to go under. If anything, bet the under in this game because Jamal Adams versus the Jets again. You have the Russell Wilson who's going to want to play well. But I think this game is going to have some pretty rough weather, which is going to make DK drop 10 more passes. Overall, the implied score in this game, basically what you do, take 47, you divide it by 2, which is 23.5. You take 47, you subtract 13 from it, which is around 34. It is 34. Then you divide that by 2. 17 plus 13, that means the final score, they're saying it's going to be 30-17. You think Seattle's going to score 30 on the Jets? Maybe in a rebound game, but I think it's going to be a little bit messy. The Jets, I think, are going to be fighting. I think this is going to be an emotional game, a revenge game against Jamal Adams. I think this team's going to be fighting away from Greg Williams. So I'd lean the under, but my pick, since I have to do spreads, is going to be the Jets plus 13.5. You may be able to even get it at 14. And finally, my final pick is the Saints. Yeah, do you think Jalen Hurts is going to score points? Basically the Saints, you think they weren't scouting Jalen Hurts. You think that they're not going to know how to defend against a guy like Jalen Hurts. That's what they do. They're the top defense in the league. Jalen Hurts has only scored 7 points. The Eagles are just sabotaging him pretty much. There's no reason to fight for this game. Your season's pretty much over. The reason why I put Jalen Hurts in, it's not to create that spurt. It's basically say your season's over. Let's just evaluate the assets. And maybe the rookies come up. We saw spurts of Jalen Reagor playing well. But overall, just the Eagles are just a mess. So 7 points, that's it. I have the Saints valued at 4 points above average, and I have the Eagles right now with Jalen Hurts 6 points worse than an average team. With the news that Jason Peters gone, I think this line value is great. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 8.5 at close. And take a look, I think last week, weren't the Eagles 8.5 point underdogs? So, I mean, I guess it's similar value, but I just think the Saints are just a way better team. And again, in the better coaching. And then a bonus pick, just a quick little pick, Tennessee versus Jaguars. Tennessee plays the Lions, Packers, and then Houston after this. They play the Lions next, so not too much of a look ahead. They're going to just be focused solely on this game. I think they go for their revenge. As far as Jaguars, I think their last win or last game was a little bit fluky. Interceptions, balls flying everywhere. I think that game, if you just look at the score, people are like, oh yeah, the Jaguars are still fighting. Really, they're not. They're benching Gardner Minshew. And so Titans plus -7.5. And plus, this line is about the same as it was in the beginning of the year. I think Tennessee's better, and I think the Jaguars are worse. So I think it's an obvious pick. Tennessee -7.5. All right, now into my hot takes. I recorded this a little bit earlier. For some reason, I deleted the file, so we're going to get done with this a little bit quickly. So my first one is the Steelers are going to be the number 3 seed, and they are not going to make the second round, the divisional round. They're going to lose in the wild card round. So basically, the Chiefs are going to overtake them because they're tied right now. They're going to lose to Buffalo. They turn into 11-2. Buffalo 10-3. And then Buffalo just wins more games, or them or Tennessee, and somehow the Steelers find themselves in the number 3 seed. and they don't make it out of the first round because the wide receivers are dropping balls. We saw it with the Patriots last year. A lot of parallels. They're really one-dimensional. In this league, you can't really be one-dimensional if you want to win. And you can easily just get caught by a team like the Ravens in the first round. It's just like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then, so my second hot take, I'm not too sure what order I'm going to be in, but I think Miami could win the division. Now, this doesn't really go parallel with, my Steelers are number 3. But I'm confident that they won't make it out of the first round, pretty much. That's my hot take. But Miami, they're going to win the division. So you take a look at their rest of their schedule. They play Oakland. They play the Chiefs. If they upset the Chiefs today, I'm recording this before the game starts. If they upset the Chiefs today, you could see the path. They play against the Patriots. Then all of a sudden you're just like, okay, they can easily go 11-5. The Buffalo Bills, even if they beat the Steelers, they can go 11-5 as well because they play the Patriots again. So you can easily see with the rest of their schedules, I put them on the screen, the Buffalo Bills could have a path to go 11-5. And the Miami Dolphins, I believe, would win the tiebreaker. I could be wrong. My next hot take is Corey Davis is going to be top 5 in wide receiver yards. In the beginning of the year, I said that Corey Davis would be top 5. That's kind of why I'm picking it now. But basically, it's going to be tough because you have a bunch of guys that are around that 1,100 mark. Right now, he's around 80 yards a game for 800 yards total. And the defense that he's playing against over the next couple of weeks, we're talking about teams like, the Packers are the toughest team he has to face up against. You're talking about teams like... I completely forgot their schedule. But, the Texans, the Jaguars, those types of teams that he plays today. So I think they can go off towards the end of the season. It's only him and A.J. Brown, really. You want to rest Derrick Henry, I think, going down the stretch, unless they really need him in some certain games. But the defense that they play against are pretty light. So Corey Davis in that spot. The next thing that I really like is Washington and L.A. to win out. Basically, there was a thing last year that said, you go 0-6. The next year, you are pretty much destined to go 4-2. We take a look at the divisional records for LA. They need to start winning some divisional games. And, so I think that Washington, they play against Philly and they play against Dallas. You got to win those games. The Chargers is going to be a little bit tough. We took a look at that last week, especially if the Chiefs are 14-1 at that point. Again, doesn't really go well with my Dolphins pick. So some of these don't really work out as far as logistical. But especially if the Chiefs are 14-1, they really have nothing to play for. Last year, they did. Last year, they had to play for the number 1 seed. They weren't expecting the Patriots to lose against Miami, but they're still playing for something. I think that the Chargers can win that game. You also don't really have a tough schedule going on the stretch. You have the Raiders, you have the Broncos, and then today, who do they play against? The Atlanta Falcons, and that was my best bet earlier, so that's a pick like that. And finally, the Giants/Washington make the wild card round. This is a take that I've had for the last couple of weeks that now is really starting to catch fire. I'm like, guys, just wait a minute. Especially if Washington wins out, the Giants can still make a wild card at 7-9. They need to win against the Cardinals today because they'll be 6-7. Then San Francisco, I'm picking Washington to win that game. San Francisco loses, all of a sudden they're pretty much out. Minnesota, they're 7-point underdogs today, so you can definitely see the path where Seattle has one wild card, Tampa has one wild card, and the Giants have the other wild card. So those are some of my hot takes. Obviously, they're not all going to happen, but I think that they have the possibility to happen and it can turn things upside down. Do you have any hot takes? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy today's games.